Y'all be patient with me because I have to write down everything that I have to say. I'm not that articulate, uh, so bear with me. Hello, America, and hello to every targeted individual on the face of this earth. My name is Ronell Jackson, and I have been a targeted individual for the past 45 years. 34 of those years were spent in North Carolina prisons. Why? Because I tried to expose the people behind the harassments, especially the electronic harassments. But I did it in the wrong way. For 10 years, I had to endure these harassments. I was so distraught and traumatized, I was on the verge of suicide on a number of occasions. So I tried to force the people at a local television station to admit to their involvement, because I believed at the time that they were. And I did it using a loaded 9mm pistol. I ended up shooting and killing one individual and kidnapping another. I was released from prison last year in June 2018. In my previous videos, I promised that I would reveal the solution to the atrocities carried out on targeted individuals when certain requirements were met. However, I believe the time to act is now. But I must tell you this first. From the very first day I entered the prison system, there was instant recognition from prison officials. They knew me by face. I had never met these people, yet every prison I was transferred to, every one of them knew me instantly. I'm telling you this from my own personal experience. For years, I listened to the comments, innuendos, jokes, and laughter whenever they first lay eyes on me. When I received my time in sentence, they sent me to Central Prison in Raleigh. That's where I first went. Mind you, these are total strangers. How else would they know me except through the network of electronic surveillance? All TIs know what I'm talking about, because the extraordinary truth of all this is that all TIs have had the same experiences. That alone should open the eyes and ears of the uninformed. In my years of experience, I have come to know that celebrities have known about electronic surveillance and harassments for decades because they have indulged in it. Again, I speak from personal experience. This includes politicians of whom targeted individuals are asking for help, I'm sorry to say. But speaking of celebrities, they are the people whom we have idolized for their beauty and talents for years. We watch them on television, in movie theaters, and listen to them on the radio, whether actor, musician, athlete, or whatever. They may not have had anything to do with the creation of electronic surveillance technology, but they are privy to it. They can bear witness to its existence if they choose to. None of them have, except for one that I know of. Her name is Gloria Naylor, an acclaimed African American author and playwright known all over the world. And the reason she spoke up is because she had been a targeted individual herself. Sorrowfully, she died of a heart attack in 2016 at the age of 66. She wrote about her experiences in a book titled 1996. And because of her celebrity status, I believe with all my heart that she was steadily and methodically murdered by her tormentors because she inspired hope and protest in her fellow TIs. Concerning my own personal experiences, it was obvious to me that any conversation I had in the privacy of my own home was somehow heard by many people, whether in my hometown in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, or anywhere on the globe, if my tormentors chose to broadcast it. A man named John St. Clair Acquire, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, a former NSA employee, says that NSA personnel can dial up any individual in the country on the Signals Intelligence EMF scanning network, and their computers will then pinpoint and track any individual 24 hours a day. This kind of technology has the capability to access an individual's visual cortex, to see everything seen through an individual's eyes. In the same way, this technology can access the auditory cortex of an individual's brain to listen to anything the individual says. When all of this first began, I used to search the radio dial to see if my voice came across any stations, but all I heard was regular programming. But in this city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I knew some or many residents were able to hear my voice. By what means, I do not know. No one has ever approached me and intimated to me that I was being eavesdropped upon. Nevertheless, I promised a solution, and here it is. To all TIs and to all TI advocates and organizations, the key to resolving our dilemma is to offer a monetary reward to those who will come forward with physical evidence that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that electronic surveillance and eavesdropping was carried out on one particular TI. Because of my personal experiences, which I believe to be somewhat unique, I offer myself as that particular TI. I say that because I became a targeted individual during the early 70s. I was just entering my 20s. My personal life suddenly became non-existent. I was harassed by the television industry, the motion picture industry, every form of media, and parts of the general population. And I know that may sound far-fetched to many, including some TIs, but I believe my solution will inevitably confirm my allegations. As I said earlier, I believe my experiences are unique, apart from most TIs. For instance, sometime around 1972 or 1992 or 1993, I discovered that I could see images of people whenever I closed my eyes. I'm not talking about the images my tormentors put in my mind when I'm asleep. These are images I see when my eyes are closed while wide awake. They are not crisp images as if watching television, but they are distinct enough to tell they are people. And these images have been present 24 hours a day since 1993. I've never heard other TIs claim that as one of their experiences. From day one, my tormentors have used their signals intelligence technology to thoroughly monitor me. And because it enables them to see through my eyes and to hear through my ears, they have witnessed every second of my life since the early 70s. Not a day has gone by that they didn't make me aware of their presence, either through physical sensations or putting images in my mind whenever I went to sleep. I believe they have recorded every minute of those 45 years. That's why I offer a monetary reward as the solution. Because when it comes to human nature, there's one element of it you can always rely on: greed. Put up enough money, and even the most stubborn of individuals will divulge the best kept secrets. This is an ironclad, guaranteed solution to our dilemma. I propose that we offer a reward of at least $10 million or more to people who can produce audio and visual recordings from my very own eyes and ears. If they can produce any of these recordings that reveals instances when I was incarcerated, these would be undeniable. Now the question arises, where will this money come from? My answer is this: if all these well-off people in political office who claim to sympathize with us won't come together to offer this reward, we can raise the money from among ourselves, our families, and our true friends. If every TI all over the globe, and I believe they number in the millions, if they would just give $1, it would cover any size of a reward. But this message must go out to the four corners of the world through every available medium. What we will be doing is outpaying our tormentors' employers. And I'm quite sure that no one, even in the CIA, NSA, or research centers, make that kind of money in a year's time. This is the solution. I'm calling on organizations like Targeted Justice and Freedom for Targeted Individuals and media outlets like Ella Free to take this message to heart, to TIs, and to the entire world community. Make me your poster boy for this campaign. Use my image on billboards, placards, and rap signs. Make me go viral. However, there's one thing you may not know about me. I have suffered from social anxiety since childhood. But when the harassments began, I developed an even worse disorder called agoraphobia. On one occasion, I didn't leave my house for 2 years. On another, I didn't leave my house for 3 years. Now, multiply the anxiety factor by 34 years of incarceration, and you have a severely traumatized individual. So, for someone like myself, who is willing to expose himself to the world in this manner, speaks of desperation that is far, far off the scale. Yes, I am fucking tired of the people behind this technology. To those people who are not targeted individuals, who have not experienced these kinds of harassment, or never knew such atrocities were taking place in this country, it doesn't mean that you are not victims. These tormentors don't have to harass you to monitor you. They can still spy into and invade your life through your own eyes and ears 365 days of the year, and you wouldn't know it unless they wanted you to know. Just consider every personal thing, every intimate moment that occurs in the privacy of your own home. Things you wouldn't want anyone to see or hear. You wouldn't know unless they wanted you to know. If they chose to monitor your moments in the shower, or sitting on your toilet, or in your bedrooms, you wouldn't know it. If you were scanning over important classified papers that's nobody's business but your own, how would you know if these people weren't looking through your eyes? How would you know if they spied the balance in your checkbook or plagiarized a manuscript you've written? What if a loved one of yours, whom you know to be the picture of health, with no family history of heart attacks, seizures, or aneurysms, if they suffered one of those maladies, you would know if these tormentors caused it. And they are capable of such acts. What I'm trying to get over to you is that no one is safe from these people, and you should be concerned. Because they could be murdering you right now. What I mean by that is that they could target any vital organ in your body with these directed energy weapons that they possess. Keep that energy trained on that organ 24 hours a day for months or years until that organ begins to fail. And by the time you develop symptoms, it's too late. You die. When an autopsy is done on your body, the examiner can only report that you died from organ failure. And there will be no way for him to know that you were intentionally murdered in cold blood. Because of my 45 years experience of being a targeted individual, there are some celebrities whom I truly believe were murdered by directed energy weapons, besides Gloria Naylor. So, I do not understand why celebrities won't speak out about this, because they should realize that they are not immune to these directed energy weapon attacks, no more than we are. Next, I want to address the citizens who reside in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, because I believe you may have some answers for me. Some of you who are old enough may remember the shooting and kidnapping that occurred at Channel 45 television station in Winston-Salem in 1984. You may also remember that I was the suspect. What I could never figure out was how my voice was being heard by the general population, apart from the people behind this technology. I'm certain many of you know. I mean, where and what was my voice coming from when you heard it? Was it over an AM or FM radio station? Was it a CB radio? I know that the majority of you weren't hired to eavesdrop on me, but you did hear me over some receiver near you, or you were told by someone who did. You see, it wasn't hard to figure out that some signals technology made it possible for my voice to be heard over a distance, but I could never prove it. Had I been able to prove it at my trial, I would not have wasted 34 years of my life in prison. Now that I am free, I'm asking you to step up and tell me. I'm not seeking to rail at you. That is not my goal. Neither is it the goal of TI spread throughout the world. What we want is deliverance from our tormentors. We want vindication because the uninformed believe TIs are mentally unbalanced. However, the informed can help us achieve vindication. And if you choose to tell me what I need to know, you can either contact me through my email or on Facebook. And if you didn't know, a global campaign to bring awareness to the plight of TIs is currently taking place. Be a part of it. Now, to those of you who claim the Christian faith, who attend the house of God regularly, if you know my voice was being overheard over some receiver, it is your God-given duty to come forward. For as the scriptures say, to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is sin. That is what is called a sin of omission. Or does it take a reward for a Christian to step up? But let me elaborate more on my proposal. To Ella Free and freedom for targeted individuals. I am quite serious when I say I want my face to represent targeted individuals worldwide. I have gone online and seen the billboards across the country displaying the teary eyes of a young woman. That is fantastic. I didn't know worldwide campaigns were in effect until I was released from prison last year. I'm asking you to put my face on billboards across the country also, because I have had more experiences than the average TI. I have seen actors on television shows like afternoon soap operas aim their dialogue at me. For instance, if I went out to mow my lawn, then after that changed the oil in my car, then after that I go to get a haircut, they would manipulate their lines slyly and slyly include all of those activities in their dialogue. They were never stupid enough to call me by name on national television, but they were definitely letting me know they could see and hear everything I did. So apparently, there was some kind of monitor out of sight of the camera that displayed everything seen through my eyes. At first, I assumed that picture tubes were being installed with spy lenses, but it later occurred to me that these were outside activities, and sometimes I did things that were in other parts of the house where there was no television. This all began around 1972, which means that this type of technology existed way back then. It was confirmed to me in 2006 when I first read Gloria Naylor's book. In the back of the book is a copy of a lawsuit that John St. Clair Acquai, a former NSA employee whom I mentioned earlier, brought against the agency. He vows in that lawsuit that they possess that technology. But that is not all. I've had commercials aimed at me, songs, movies, newspaper headlines. I'm telling you, they came at me from all directions. I think I was the first or maybe one of the first individuals whom they used this kind of technology on. Like I said, they came at me extravagantly and have not ceased to this day. I could write a book. That's why I am the right person for this, Miss Ella Free. If I prove what has happened to me, I vindicate every TI around the world. As far as the idea of a reward as an incentive is concerned, this can't fail. It can't. Think about it. Millions of people out of work, or people living from one paycheck to the next. $10 million or more would be a lifesaver. If we raise that kind of money, we automatically plant distrust among our tormentors. We plant suspicion because then they will begin to look at each other, wondering who will be the first to break rank, to jump ship, to defect, to blow the whistle for millions of dollars. Along with offering a reward, we offer anonymity and immunity from persecution. Wealthy celebrities that don't need the money, but it would be great if they came forward to admit they knew I was being eavesdropped on or spied upon just out of a sense of moral principles or courage. but I'm quite sure they don't have either. Finally, let's be clear about what's required to claim the reward, because the reward will be given to anyone who can meet those requirements. 24 hours a day, my tormentors use remote neural monitoring technology to invade my mind and body, just like they do to all TIs. They can send images and voices into my brain, whether I'm awake or asleep. They can also see the images I form in my own mind. Remote neural monitoring sends and receives. They can hear an individual's thoughts and voice because they have the equipment to make it possible. They can affect every muscle and nerve in the body. They can see what an individual sees because they have monitors that displays it. And apparently, ordinary citizens can hear me whenever I speak. So, you must record my voice if you hear it from a remote location. If you have the means to record what I see, save it as evidence as well. If you can record the times when my mind is invaded while I'm sleeping, save it as evidence also. What I'm really hoping for are recorded footage of my time in prison. I'm talking about recorded footage as seen through my eyes. I'm also hoping for evidence from people associated with agencies like the NSA, CIA, and people associated with the media in any way. This is my proposal. This is the solution. Thank you.